Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I decided that I would like to build another mansion using the new kit, and I wanted to give it a modern twist. So I, for example, built all these arches from the Courtyard Oasis kit, but I added lots of modern windows. So it's like a mix of two architectural styles. So it has this Moroccan vibe, but it's also modern, it's really luxurious, and it's huge. And let me tell you, the process was something else. So I'm building this on the 64 by 64 lot in Desert Valley, as you can see here, but I built something similar on a 50 by 40 lot, like the one of the smaller lots in the Pinnacles in Desert Valley first. So it looked super similar to what you can see here. I built this part of the build, and then I built a round section on the left side. You already caught a glimpse of the finished build in the beginning of the video, and you saw that I have all these round shapes on both sides. So I built this piece and then a round shape on the left side, and it looked really cute. But then I thought, wouldn't it be perfect if everything would be symmetrical? So I have two towers, like the towers that I'm working on right now. Then I have round shapes on both sides. And then I realized that there's not enough space. So I, of course, had to move to the 64 by 64 lot. So this happened like really fast. I started to work on this and I realized, okay, this is a 64 by 64 build. And then I tried to place the smaller build that I had created on this slot, and I was trying to dissect it. So I tried to untether the round section from the build, the towers. So I wanted to kind of duplicate the towers, and I just wanted to piece it together. And then I wanted to continue building on this slot here, but this wasn't working, like not at all. And at this point I was like really stressed, and I was like, okay, that's it. I just took a screenshot from what I've created so far, and then I just recreated it on the slot. So here at this point, I tried to recreate what I had built on the smaller lot, and then later on I was also running into some other problems. We are going to talk about this as well. So while this was a lot of fun, like especially the style, I'm obsessed with the kit, as you know, but as soon as you just combine this kit with some modern elements and round shapes, oh my god, I'm so in love. So I had a lot of fun, but I also had a little crisis while I was building this. Sadie was also so kind to help me, because later on I was running into a couple of tool problems, and we jumped into a Discord call and she helped me, which I'm so grateful for. She kind of saved the build. I'm going to explain you later when we've like reached the point in the video where I'm working on this section. So yeah, I was going for this nice little mix, and we got this update a while ago where we can just build windows wherever we want. We can combine them. So I would totally recommend to try using a doorway in large and to just throw some windows into the mix. It can be really, really fun. So that's what I did. At first I only did this for the main building, but later on I'm also going to do this for these round areas that I'm working on here. And when I created this here, like these round areas using T.O.O.L, I was kind of scared that it would start to look too Italian or something. Beautiful architecture as well, but I had a mission. I wanted to have a Moroccan build, and I wanted to just have a modern twist. I didn't want to mix all kinds of different architectural styles for this build, so I was worried, but I hope that it turned out fine. So I used the tool mod, as you saw. I rotated these arches. These are the big ones from the new kit that can be used on the tallest wall height, and I combined them in increments of 15, and then I used this little thingy to sit on from a spot. I think I really like to use this object. Like recently I really enjoy it. Usually I use the pristine pedestal, but this one here is much more forgiving because it has like all these rounded corners, and it's much easier to align it. It's like really quick. It looks really perfect without putting too much effort in, which is always good, right? So I can totally recommend using this object if you want to create something similar, and I just enjoy the look. And then things got a bit tricky because not only did I have to align all these objects properly, but this is also what caused all these problems later. So when you are using T.O.O.L and when you're building something similar, you always have to make sure that the objects you are placing are on the correct level. Otherwise, a lot of stuff is going to float around, and this happens to me all the time. So I have to go back and fix this. But as you can already see here, these are lots of objects, like both on the left and right side. And later on, I'm also going to expand this whole area, and there will be more and more levels. And then at some point I just realized, okay, all my objects are floating, and this is when Sadie came in and helped me. You will see what I'm talking about. Yeah, then I just added a fountain to this. So usually I add a pool to everything. I don't know why, because I could just use a fountain, which makes more sense because a fountain is not accessible, and this area is clearly not accessible. Also, when you think about it, it's like super weird when you have like a decorative water feature and then all your Sims are doing is jumping into that, or when you have a party and everyone is like kind of chilling in your water feature. So it makes much more sense to turn it into a fountain right away. And yeah, that's what I did actually. And later on I'm going to build a pool that I'm super proud of. It's not the biggest pool, but I think it looks super cute. Here I start to work on it actually. So I wanted to have a round pool, of course. This build is all about round shapes once again. And I placed a rock in the center to have a guideline. And then I placed more arches, and I wanted these arches to go all around my pool. So I just rotated them using T.O.O.L. As always, the disclaimer, you don't need the mod to grab this build from the gallery, to use it, to place it. It's CC free and unmodded. I mean, I'm not using any CC either way, just this mod, and it's unmodded. Like, you can use it to create something, you can upload it to the gallery, and people can just download it without needing the mod, even though I, of course, recommend the mod, but you don't need it. So I placed my arches, and then I used once again a rock as a guideline to have a perfectly circular shape. And because I got a bit lazy at this point after all my struggles, I simply cloned this area using T.O.O.L. and rotated it, and I just didn't want to place all these objects. It's like therapeutic for me. I love this. Like, I really love to just chill and to place all these objects, but not on that day. I just kind of wanted to be done with this area, to be honest. Then I held down Control on my keyboard, so I was able to delete all these platform sections using the good old room tool, and this way all that I was left with was a wonderful hole in the ground. And then I used the pool tool to fill in this area, and I was kind of bothered by like stairs, like all these stairs glitches again. If you download this, if some stairs are missing in this area, you just have to build them again yourself. I don't know, it's like super glitchy again. Stairs are like, they're driving me crazy, honestly. We have so many bugs in build mode, but please, can someone please fix the stairs? They just disappear and they're acting so weird. And then, like, I had finished my, like, this ring at the top using this little object that I used earlier. And because I just wanted to be a bit taller, I simply toggled all these objects using T.O.O.L. I duplicated them and I lowered them, and this is a really good example for something that you wouldn't really need T.O.O.L. for, but it definitely makes your life easier. Like, you could totally just raise each object again and you could just put all the work in, but T.O.O.L. just makes your life so much easier. I mean, we see all these really crazy creations using T.O.O.L. by Sadie or Phantasm, for example, and I admire these creations so much. I could never, but sometimes it also just makes your life easier. So this is why I always recommend the mod. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm not going to build something like this, for example, I'm not going to create Sadie's castle, and I'm not either because I can't do it, but I just recommend it for just making your life easier, because it's just so convenient to just copy stuff, to rotate it so you don't have to do all the tedious work all the time. It's just amazing. And it doesn't mean that you're a lazy builder or something. I mean, I call myself lazy sometimes when I'm doing that, but it's just convenient. It's like a tool, literally, that you can use and that should be used if you are into it. It's amazing, and it just offers like so many new options. It turns build mode into something else, honestly. And I'm still thinking about covering this in a video, like some tips and tricks, like some stuff that I like to use it for personally, also some stuff that I like that just make my life easier, and that could make your life easier too. I don't know. So I then added just more decorations, spandrels, loving the new spandrels from the kit. Also used the freezes from the kit because I finally used the tallest wall height, which made it possible for me to finally use these freezers. I wish we could use freezers on any wall height, but yeah, like I was kind of sad about this for my last builds because I didn't use the tallest wall height, but here this is like a proper mansion. It was time for the tallest wall height finally. And then I also added these windows to this area. Also a good example of just using T.O.O.L to clone something. Once you have rotated some of them and you know that the angle is the same for a different area, you can just clone them and move them to the correct place. Also, I get this question a lot. When you're using T.O.O.L, when you want to group select stuff or copy it, these are like the two main questions. And as I said, I may make a video about this, but I just want to talk about this. You toggle an object so it's green, and then when you hold on Alt on your keyboard and you click on another object, you're going to add it to the group. You can just select multiple objects by holding down Alt. And also to copy something, you hold down Alt and Shift on your keyboard and you click on the ground, and then there it is. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention this because recently I've been getting this question a lot. This is how you do it. So here at this point, I was really happy with the build in general, like the shape. I like it's completely symmetrical, which is really pleasing to the eye. Most of the time when I try to create symmetrical builds, I feel like it looks too boring, like I don't enjoy it. But here it totally works out for some reason. I don't know why. Like it didn't bother me. I was really happy. I added more of these windows. So all around the build or all over the build, I placed these arches from the new kit and then I added all these windows. These windows are from Snowy Escape, I think. They are a little bit shorter than the small windows that we got in the base game and in Eco Lifestyle, for example. So these are perfect if you want to create this look. So I used the tallest wall height, the big arch that goes on the tallest wall height, and then these smaller windows from Snowy Escape. So if you want to recreate this look, this is what I did. And I just love the contrast so much, like having these white arches and then having these black windows. I generally love to do this for modern builds, so I really tried to just stay in this style. It was then time to kind of take a look at the floor plan and the inside, and I was running into problems again, as you can see here. I don't know if you saw this, but the platforms were acting super weird once again when I was closing a room. And when you're working on a build like this, you most of the time have different levels, like in the front and in the back, for example. So you have to make it work. So like everything is on the correct level. Then you have to connect all these different levels using stairs, for example. And here I was kind of trying to figure out a floor plan and just how to do it. Later on, I'm going to change this a bit. I also initially decided to have a much bigger courtyard, but then I made it a bit smaller, and I totally wanted to include a courtyard because this is kind of the main theme of the kit. So I totally wanted to include one. I also read about this. It's called Moroccan Riyadh, and Riyadh stands for garden apparently, just like the city in Saudi Arabia, which is called Riyadh, also means garden apparently. I hope that this is correct. I read this. And the thing with these Moroccan Riyadhs is that it's all about privacy. So you can spend time on the outside. You have a garden, you have fresh air, you might have a pool, you can take a swim, but you have privacy. So no one can like take a look at you, what you're doing. And to me, this sounds amazing. And I think that's so cool. Like, honestly, I like this. It looks great. It makes sense. I love this. I was kind of just wanted to educate myself and read a little bit about this. So then it was time to just have some more round section. Like at this point, I got really enthusiastic to really go all out on these round shapes. So I had already created them. And I always tell you this, I mean, this is kind of a, like I've talked about this in this video already, but I want to mention it again. I always tell you if you've created it already on one lot, you can just copy it. So I already put all the work into my round section at the bottom. So I was just able to use T.O.O.L to select them and to copy them. So this is also why I didn't include the whole process. You already saw how I placed all these arches, windows, and this little white cube thingy. So I just essentially cloned them. I mean, this sounds really easy, and in theory it is, but then, as I said, I was running into all these problems, and Sadie came to help me. Like, this year was right after she helped me, I think. So the problem was, as I said, that all my objects were floating, like floating a lot. So when I was at the bottom level, just wanted to furnish or something, everything was floating. And usually you can just pick it up and you can place an object on the correct level, and that's it. But at some point, when a build has gotten too complex and you've used so many objects, things are a bit tricky. So she showed me how she does it, like placing a room in a different area. Then you group select all these objects, you move them to the room, you save it to your library, you lower it, all these things. I don't know. I'm really grateful that she held my hand and helped me. Like, she really helped me. She fixed this, and she like made this build so much better. So thank you to Sadie. She's just amazing. I'm going to link her channel down below. Please check her out. She's just the best. She's like so amazing. There's so many great builders in this community, and I feel inspired by so many builders, and she's like one of my biggest inspirations. Like all she creates, and she's just so amazing, honestly. Like, all the work she puts into her builds, the vision that she has, like, she just thinks, okay, I'm just going to turn this into a build using T.O.O.L and all that, and then it just happens. It's just, wow. I'm always blown away, and I feel so privileged being her friend, and she's just so nice. She's just wonderful. So shout out to Sadie. Thank you for saving this build with your T.O.O.L magic, and yeah, check out the description box. So at this point, I decorated the house. Like, I used these little rock thingies from Get Together, which are supposed to be used in a pool, to just add some more objects. I used these palm trees from Island Living. I generally used lots of palm trees and plants from Island Living. And I just decorated everything. So at this point, it all came together. I was already happy with the symmetrical shape, as I said, but the whole backyard, or whatever you want to call it, that's not really like a proper backyard, but the whole outer area didn't look complete because there was so much stuff missing, just furniture, plants, just different things. And here at this point, it came all together, and I was so excited. And at this point, I hadn't even furnished the build yet. And you all know this, you work on a big mansion, then it's time to furnish, and you know, oh, this is going to take a long time. But it was actually alright, because I had built this courtyard in the center, which took up a lot of space, and the top level also isn't too big. The cool thing is, now that we got bunk beds, we can just place them, and you have like so much space for so many Sims suddenly, which is amazing. Also, I don't know if you've seen this, but in yesterday's stream, they showed off some bunk beds, and, or was it yesterday's stream? I don't know. I lost track of everything. It might have been the Courtyard Oasis stream, actually. But they showed in a stream that there will be an update for bunk beds soon, so we can place stuff below, like a sofa or a desk, or just another bed facing into a different direction, and which will be just amazing. I know that a lot of people were kind of disappointed. I was also one of those people said that I don't understand that, because when you have like a bunk bed with only a bed on top, why would you not place a bed below to use the space? There's no other reason to really use a bed like this. You want to save space, and you want to use the space below the bed, like for a desk or for a chair, for anything. And yeah, they fixed that really quickly. Like, when the bunk bed update came out, there was like a lot of criticism, and they said that they were working on it and that there will be an update in the future. And this was like really quick. I'm so impressed. Like, the update is coming soon, which is amazing. They obviously worked so hard on this, and I'm just so excited that we get the update soon. Also, yesterday was a stream where they showed details of the new game pack, which also looks amazing. In my last video, I was talking about doing a like let's play type of video where I dive into live mode, and I received so many comments from you saying that I should do it, so I think I might actually do that. So I'm planning to also just have maybe a speed build using all the new objects, but I also want to create some type of let's play. This is a first. I've never done this. I never really play, like I only build. So I don't know how it turns out. Like I'm really excited for this, but you want to see it and I'm ready to try something new. But I'm also really scared and excited because I've just never done this before. I can't tell you when I really played for the last time, like actually played live mode. This will be so exciting. I feel like I will have no idea what's going on and what's about to happen. But I thought that we could just dive into live mode and that we could just take a job from a client for the new career and then we can just remodel a home or something. I don't know, but this sounds so fun. And yeah, if you want it, I will do this. I'm totally down. I think it will be fun. As I said, a little nervous and excited, but I think that it will be so much fun. So here at this point, I started to furnish, and I also wanted to have a mix of a traditional yet modern design. So I tried to incorporate the same colors. I used lots of whites, but also blacks. I used the subway tile behind my sink, and I placed the sink in front of these hallway tables. Then I decided to place some base game shelves on top, just so I was able to hide the little gap between the sink and the table. I used different mirrors. I think the one in the center is from Seasons, and I don't even know to which packs the other two belong. I think City Living maybe. Generally such a great pack for this style, as I've said before. And there is not a lot of privacy, so I also decided to use some curtains just so your Sims would have some privacy. I know that for some of you this type of realism is important, so I always try to remember this. I also used a different floor color to make it look more interesting, and I've used this spade lighting stripe, this spade object, all over the build again, also on the outside. Whenever I'm combining different floor colors or patterns, I really like to use it. It's perfect for a more polished, really finished look. I really like to use it in between the different colors. I can fully recommend that if you own spade. It's just so perfect. Honestly, whenever I'm talking about all these packs and whenever I'm thinking about Sims 5, I don't know, I have really mixed feelings. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm like really excited just for Sims 5 in general, just for something new and fresh. I'm like really, really excited. Also, as a content creator, I have no idea how this is going to be. Like just having a new Sims game and building, and what really scares me kind of is just only having the base game available. I mean, we've been through this a couple of times, like in general, like when Sims 4 came out, it was the same, of course, you only have the base game, but I feel like it's not too bad because in the beginning you are just so excited because it's a completely new game, there's so much to explore that it's kind of alright, but after a while you just want to have some packs. And here at this point, we just have so many packs already, so many expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs. Now we also got some kits. We have so many objects in this game, and just imagine it would only be the base game, then we have the tool mod, which is like, it just adds so much to the build mode. So many mods in general. A lot of people use CC. There's so much CC out there, and it will be just a fresh start once Sims 5 comes out. And I'm like equally excited and scared for this, but we will see what's going to happen. I've said this before. As soon as the game comes out in a couple of years or whenever, I'm going to build a nice base game mansion for you. I'm really excited for this. We will see what's going to happen, and I mean, it's confirmed at this point, I think, pretty much that they are developing Sims 5. It is about to happen. At some point, no one was really certain, will there even be a Sims 5, but yeah, there will be a Sims 5 apparently, and there will also be some type of multiplayer feature apparently. I don't know, we will see. I just had to think about this because I'm like, yeah, this is from Spade, this is from Jungle Adventure, and so on. And this will be so different, but also so exciting. I don't know. Let me know. Are you excited for Sims 5? I don't know. We will just see what's about to happen. And maybe we will have an open world. Imagine that. I don't know. This here is like the entrance area actually, but I have like so much space in this area that I decided to turn this into the living room. I divided the whole area just by using a wall, and then I placed a TV on the wall just so it would be a nice living room, because you need all these just different areas. You need a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, of course, and it was kind of hard to find the correct position for each area because we have the courtyard in the center, the huge garden in the back, so the whole living area is kind of going around the courtyard, which is amazing, and what makes this so fun in my opinion, because the courtyard is kind of connecting the whole build. I love this so much, but it was kind of hard to decide where I would place which area, so I just decided to turn this into the living room. At first I wanted to use a different sofa because it's not really looking modern, and I wanted to have this combination of both styles, but I figured it just wouldn't make sense to not use the sofas from the new kid. And I also decided to use the swatch because it's my favorite one. There are other ones that I used on the exterior, but this one I think is really my favorite swatch. I also built an indoor pool, as you will see, but it's more of a decorative pool. But I mean, Sims jump into any pool, like no matter how small it is, no matter if you just place some fountains on top, your Sims would just jump into this pool, and you know it. But I figured it would be really cute to just have another pool. So on the outside we have one pool, two fountains, and this is like a fountain pool, I think. So your Sims can swim in this pool if they want to. I also used some sofas, just another area to sit, maybe to entertain guests, I don't know, but I just figured it would look so good. And this is like one of my favorite areas on the inside because I feel like these arches in combination with these windows really stand out here. And then I placed just some tables on the outside so your Sims could actually use all these different areas. Just so much space. So I also decided to build a bar. This one is from Journey to Batu. It's round, which makes this one really special. And I then placed some columns, fences, and spandrels. I don't know if there's any like a better way to do this, but I always just build a fence and then you can add a spandrel over the fence. And then I use the sledgehammer tool. You can just press K to access the sledgehammer tool, and then I remove the fences. And when you do it this way, it's not going to remove the spandrels. When you hold down Control to get rid of the fence, it's also going to delete the spandrel. So this is how I do it, but there might be a much easier way to do this. I don't know. You could also use walls and just replace them by using spandrels, but I'm just really scared to use walls once I've laid out my floor plan now because of the whole platform issue. Platforms are just rising, disappearing, I don't know. So I fence is a good option here, and I also just built a huge dining area, like a much bigger one than the one in the kitchen. As I always explain, it's like a breakfast area, like when you eat right in the kitchen. I mean, this is a mansion, like I'm talking the lives like rich people lead, not like what life is like for most people, but like when you just look at all these mansions, like the breakfast area, a table in the kitchen or something, and then you have this really huge dining table where you entertain some guests, like this kind of style, like really huge. I combined 4 dining tables and I think it looks fabulous. And then I worked on some bedrooms. There are, I think, 5 bedrooms in total, and I just wanted them to look really cozy, a bit modern. I wanted them to fit into the style. I also included 2 really small kids' rooms, just using some bunk beds. So I don't know, here in the screenshots you will see more because this is it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this build and video. I had so much fun creating this, even though I had a little crisis in between, as I've told you. But I really enjoyed to work on this build for you. I also can't wait to work on the next build right after this one. And yeah, thank you so much. And you can find all the information in the description box. You can grab this build from the gallery. My ID is KateEmerald. But yeah, you can just check out the description box. The tray files are available on my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons. A big thank you to Britta1607, Charlotte, Callan Renee, Molly, Queen Ring, Shanna McClam, Sim Sadie, Telena Lynn, Tamika Mitchell, and Victoria Smithies. Thank you so much to all of you. I love you. Thank you to all my other Patreons. Thank you to anyone who supports me. I love you. I appreciate all of your support equally. Thank you so much. You are just amazing. And yeah, I wish you a wonderful day and week. I hope you are all doing well. Stay safe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.